He is the Deputy Chief of Staff in charge of delivery and government efficiency. He's our guest. Good morning, Eliud.
Morning.
Good to have you here.
It's a pleasure.
Janet is going to give you the day's quote, and the quote is basically words that were said by somebody many years ago.
Yes.
And let's see whether those words are relevant today.
Okay.
This was said by former South African President Nelson Mandela when it was actually a speech in solidarity with Palestine in 1997. He was ahead of his time. Nelson Mandela once said, "A nation should not be judged by how it treats its highest citizens, but its lowest ones."
I believe so, because we work for the people. Yeah, that's why government exists. Yeah, a government by the people, for the people. Yeah.
That's the mantra.
Yeah.
By the people, for the people.
Yes.
And when the government comes in, it is giving a mandate by the people.
Yes.
Based on the people's needs.
Yes.
And the government's promise to deliver and to, respond to the people's needs.
Absolutely.
This particular government, when it was campaigning, the Kenya Kwanza administration,
Yes.
Had a manifesto.
Yes.
And the manifesto was basically, I like to summarize it in the form of an arm, of a hand.
Yes.
4 plus the 5th finger.
Yeah.
The 4 fingers are: 1, MSMEs development, that is supporting MSMEs and seeing the small businesses thriving. The other one is agriculture, and they talked about agriculture being support agriculture so that it can support employment and can support food security.
Yes.
Then they also said health, universal health coverage, roll out universal health coverage and make sure that people can access the health according to the Constitution to the highest attainable standard.
Yes.
Right, Mariam?
Right.
Yes.
And then
favorite grouping of words.
yes.
Yes.
And then there was housing, and they say deliver on affordable housing and all these things to be supported by the thumb of the hand, digital superhighway.
Yes. Yes.
That's how I look at the Kenya Kwanza manifesto on like that.
Yes.
It's the 4 fingers supported by the digital superhighway.
Across the board.
Across the board.
Yes.
Got it right?
Yes.
Now, Eliud, we're going to give you the mic for 3 minutes.
Yes.
Answer to the people of Kenya.
Yes.
And give us a summary
Yes.
of the performance of the Kenya Kwanza administration on those 5 key pillars.
Let's start with agriculture. We did say that we were going to put money into agriculture as one of the means of bringing down the cost of living. Agriculture, food, the cost of food consumes about 54% of the overall cost of living index. So our argument was that if you put money into agriculture by way of subsidizing production, that is the easiest way of bringing down the cost of living. So far, cost of 50 kilogram bags of fertilizers has gone down from 7,500 per 50 kilogram bag to 2,500. A reduction of 5,000 shillings per 50 kilogram bag. Cost of unga was at 250. Today, on average, is 165 per 2 kilogram bag. Per 2 kilogram packet of unga. That is a fundamental reduction. These efforts have culminated into an increase in the production of maize to the extent that we have also reduced the level of importation of maize. Let's go to small and medium enterprises. Our anchor project there was the Hustler Fund. As we speak, we have got 26.7 million Kenyans registered in the Hustler Fund. We have disbursed to individuals a total of about 67 billion shillings and groups a total of about 196 billion shillings. The sum total of all this has led to the disposable income of those who are operating at the level, at the bottom of the economic pyramid. And now the level of savings, courtesy of small and medium enterprises alone, has gone up to the tune of 4.3 billion shillings. And investment is a function of savings. Economists will tell you that. This is one of the ways through which we can spur growth in the economy by way of investment through the informal sector. Health. Our anchor project there was universal health coverage. We started by putting in place the requisite legislations on which it had to be anchored. We came up with 4 legislations. On the Hustler Fund itself today, we have got about 25.6 million Kenyans registered with SHA. We have managed to collect through SHA a total of 664 billion shillings and disbursed to facilities also a total of about 61 billion shillings. The net effect is that even Kenyans who could not afford access to healthcare today are today accessing healthcare, not just the employed. That's the challenge that we had with the NHIF. NHIF was largely for those who are in formal employment. Today, even those who are in the informal sector are being supported to realize or to attain healthcare by being supported by those who can afford. Housing, we did say we'll be doing about 200,000 houses per year. As we speak, you remember there were challenges in this housing space because of court cases at the beginning. But when we kicked off, to date, we have managed to do 160,000 houses. One of the primary objectives...
In the 3 years?
Yeah, in the 3 years. Mm-hmm. One of the primary objectives of the housing program was not just the houses itself, but also to create jobs across the value chain. We have managed to create a total of 330,000 jobs, yeah, by supporting artisans, by performing people by way of direct employment within the housing space. Urban development as well, we have managed to do 85 ESP markets. Yeah, we also have another about 40 large modern markets which are working in progress in different parts of the country. Going to ICT, remember we said we will be doing 100,000 kilometers of fiber, 25,000 Wi-Fi hotspots. We will be doing digital skilling and so on and so forth. To date, we have done 24,000 kilometers of fiber. Yeah, we have established 1,497 Wi-Fi hotspots in different parts of the country. We have migrated government services from manual processes to digital processes. When we came in, we were at 350 services only on the eCitizen platform. Today, we are at 21,300 services on the eCitizen platform, courtesy of digitalization. And this is one of the ways of enhancing efficiency in government. Provision of devices to different institutions. We have managed to provide about 22,000 devices to different institutions, starting with the TVETs to schools. Now we are moving to digital hubs in the villages. We did say we would be setting up digital hubs. We have set up about 440 digital hubs in different parts of the country as a means of facilitating digital skilling. On digital jobs, again, we have managed to facilitate about 300,000 youth on digital jobs to date. So the sum total of all this has contributed to two fundamental achievements. One, stabilization of the economy. When we came in, interest rate was at about 9.2. Today we are at 4.5. Yeah, a massive reduction. Then we had bank rates when we came in was going at about 12%. It shot up due to tightening of the fiscal, the monetary space to about 20. Today it has drastically gone down to an average of about 15%. Some banks, remember, in the initial stages were lending even at over 20%. It has now stabilized at about 15%. Fiscal deficit has reduced. Our foreign exchange reserves when we came in was at 7.7 billion shillings. Today we are at 10.9 billion shillings. Our balance of payments has improved. On jobs, we have managed, in the informal sector alone, we have managed to create, courtesy of the Hustler Fund, we have managed to create about 1.3 million jobs. In the housing program, I've told you already, we have managed to create 330,000 jobs. In the digital space, about 200,000 jobs. Within the labor migration space, we have managed to facilitate Kenyans to acquire jobs to the tune of over 400,000 jobs abroad. And you know, this is one of the ways of revitalizing the economy because we are going to get foreign remittances. In the we have about 400 nurses who are also en route to get jobs abroad. So that, in a nutshell, is a summation of our performance over the past 3 years. So I can say without fear of contradiction that we are in good state.
So how would you rate yourself? Are you underperforming? Like what are these calls?
Expectations.
Are you below expectation, approaching expectation, meeting expectation, or exceeding expectation?
Meeting expectation.
Meeting expectation.
But we look forward to exceeding the expectation.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're asking
in fullness of time.
What they think.
Yeah.
And of course they'll be responding to that.
Yeah.
Janet, when you look at that, summary of the work done so far, are you convinced?
I mean, in fact, I'm listening to Eliud and I'm like, he had this on page 19, rather. It's pretty much verbatim to what he's saying. I can see the numbers. They have the data, right? I'm not going to sit back and push back on the data.
Yeah.
But already I have some holes that I can poke because it's usually a bit different from what people are experiencing on the ground.
Yeah.
The first one that came to mind was around inflation. And my question is, the shilling is stable, as it's indicated, but that doesn't feel like it's translated to people's pockets. So that's one thing that stood out.
Yeah.
I'll quickly go through, then Mariam and Eric, you'll chime in. Job creation, it talks about 432,447 even overseas jobs. And here it says 330,000 affordable housing jobs.
Yeah.
But are they secured? Are they dignified? Are they fairly paid? Numbers are one thing, but the execution, rollout, and expectation, I think, matters as much.
But we are moving, Janet, we are moving from a state of no employment into a state where you can actually now put food on the table for some of these youth. So that cannot be gainsaid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hustler Fund impact. Let's see. Is it here? Hustler Fund, 74 billion shillings and 26.5 million borrowers.
Yes. And we also have groups.
You also have groups.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me pause there, Latif.
We can. Okay, from
we unpack
Hustler
Pole. Yes, okay. Hustler Fund. Maybe Mariam, you can come in.
67 billion dispersed to individuals, right?
Yes.
And then another amount to groups.
Yes, I think 197.
Of that,
yes.
How much has made its way back to government?
The repayment,
the repayment rate, yes.
Yeah, the repayment rate is largely satisfactory, but also granted there are some, especially in the initial stages, there are some individuals who did not manage to pay back. And we did say as a government that we are, based on that infancy stage, we are not going to follow up those individuals at that point in time. But I think I did get some statement from the current CS, my brother Wycliffe Oparanya, that those who default moving forward, the government will come up with ways and means of recovering the money. Because, again, it was not free money. You remember when we came up with the Hustler Fund, banks were lending at between 17, 18%. The Hustler Fund was lending at a single digit of about 8%.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
So basically that is a radical reduction of about 50%. There is no free money. Yeah,
I think.
But we were talking about, we didn't say we were giving free money. We were talking about affordable credit,
right?
Without collateral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there was a repayment rate of default rate of over 60%.
Yeah.
Has that improved? Because that is quite a large default rate as far as the Hustler Fund is
it
concerned.
takes time. Any business at infancy stage is bound to face challenges. But in the fullness of time, there is bound to be stability. We envisage that this situation is going to improve. And one of the factors that will make this situation improve is that your credit rating, which is informed by the level of repayment, the level at which you repay what you have borrowed, with what is going to guarantee you access to more to more funding, because that is your security. Yeah, the credibility, your repayment is what is your credibility. We are not asking for collateral through the Hustler Fund. Yeah, and let me tell you just one important thing which I need to make there.
Yeah, there
are individuals who, courtesy of their repayment record, are now becoming prospective customers of the financial institutions.
That is actually the statistic that you should be leading with.
Yes.
Because the thinking of the Hustler Fund was not that the Hustler Fund was going to be a lender or a bank. The Hustler Fund idea is there are very many people who are in the micro enterprise stage. Somebody who is basically just selling in the market, umeanza biashara yako, unauza njugu, unauza samaki, unauza whatever matunda, but you want to grow your business. You cannot access credit. You can't go to a bank. You don't have any
you don't have a logbook,
history.
You don't have a title.
You have no collateral, so you can't access credit. And so the Hustler Fund was coming in
to
as the one
fill that void.
Sparks that need. So it gives you a credit history, a credit rating, and that can be used by the bank to now look at you as somebody who is credible that can be given money. When you people go with the Hustler Fund and you tell us, 67 billion shillings has been given to individuals, there are 26.7 million borrowers. That's not the impact we're looking at. The impact you're looking at is whether MSMEs are now able to access credit. Because that's the solution that you are going, that is the answer that you are seeking to provide.
That is the advice
that somebody who is running, who is somebody in that Homa Bay fish market,
yes,
who would ordinarily not be able to get credit.
Yeah.
They'd either have to end up with a Shylock.
Yes.
Can now have credit history
Yeah.
that they can go with to a financial institution
Yeah.
and borrow money.
You know,
So that's the number I want to hear from you, Eliud.
Yes.
How many of these 26.7 million who have borrowed through the Hustler Fund
Yeah.
have actually been able to be converted into proper businesses that can now
we are
go
at about 10 million out of that.
10 million of these people?
Yes, who are now able to access credit from the banks based on their credit rating. And you know, these are individuals who could not borrow a single cent from the bank at that point in time because they didn't have collateral. Equally, they were going to Shylocks who are lending at even up to and including 500% interest rate in a year. And we are bringing that down, we have brought that down to 8%. So that is a fundamental achievement.
When you say 10 million
Of the
have now
26.
graduated into this, are you saying that these 10 million people have now gone to a bank and borrowed? And they've been able to access credit? Or are you saying
No,
that based
they
on
are
our number?
they are prospective. They are prospective customers of banks based on their credit rating.
When do we expect to start seeing people using their credit rating from Hustler Fund being able to access credit?
Yeah.
That is working.
When do we convert these MSMEs
Yes.
into credible people who can borrow?
Within this year, we should be able to have a substantial proportion of this population accessing credit from the banks.
So that one you're still below
Yes,
expectation.
the framework. No, we cannot say we are below expectations because what we did say is that we were going to provide credit to those who are operating at the bottom of the economic pyramid. It was the output indicator based on the promise that was made was whether or not we rolled out the Hustler Fund. You are talking of the impact.
Yes.
Yeah, you are talking of the impact. Yes, that is the impact.
The impact is the answer you are.
No, but based on the we must start from a baseline. Yeah, you cannot measure performance in a vacuum. You start from a baseline. We were at zero, where these people were not accessing credit. Today, 26.7 million Kenyans who are operating at the bottom of economic pyramid have managed to access credit through the Hustler Fund. That is a fundamental achievement that cannot be wished
And
out.
10 million.
But
Yeah.
only 10 million are the ones
Are
who
prospective.
prospective.
Customers
leaves
of
what,
banks.
16?
16.7.
16.7 million.
Yeah.
What, trapped in a debt cycle or
Or
perhaps
unwilling to pay.
Not
Again,
really.
there's-
Not really. You'll not say so. You see, it takes time. Every business has got an incubation period. It takes time for businesses to stabilize. And as your business stabilizes, you are able to repay whatever loans that you take.
We're 3 years in though.
Yeah.
Again, a 64% default rate is incredibly high. Then of the other 36% that remain, we're looking at how many have been able to take this and turn this into something tangible and to build a business from it and to access credit traditionally, and we're still not able to get that data. So whereas, yes, people were able to access this money, 26 million Kenyans were able to access this money, it seems that a large percent of them, over 60%, did a one-time, withdrawal,
Not
almost to
necessarily.
test the system.
Do you get time to go to the countryside?
Yeah.
If you go to the countryside, you'll realize that we have got a whopping number of our mothers and sisters and youth who are idling in the villages and today are doing itinerary trade courtesy of the Hustler Fund.
Eliud, let me let you pause there because we do need to go into a break and come back and discuss and just unpack some of the other numbers, whether it's affordable housing.
Yes.
And the other thing that came to mind as we were looking at delivering the promise of the 3 years is at some point in this conversation is to not negate how much of it has been overshadowed by some of the human rights matters, and as much as delivering the promise is one thing, and I know Eliud will argue
we
that
also
we're
have
here to do
extraneous
that,
factors.
but we have security, education, human rights that we need to, sometimes those can overshadow and we need to unpack that. But we'll come back, it's coming up to 7:30. As we say, there is a poll running online, and we are asking you, how do you rate the president's performance 3 years in? So talk to us, let us know. We'll also be opening the phone lines in the next hour. We'll be back in just a moment.
Yes.
Some feedback, and again, we've said it before, there's an ongoing poll. Maybe we'll see if we can give feedback so far in terms of what the rating is. But some of the comments, Emmanuel Templar says, there's no dispute that the Hustler Fund was hurriedly implemented to deliver on a political promise. The best option, okay, so he's talking about how it should be going to banks and lending at subsidized rates to targeted communities. Still, Mike the One says, yes, unga imeshuka bei, but watu hawana pesa. The government is talking about how we are okay. Kwa ground, mambo ni tofauti. Mambo ni tofauti aje? Tell us, Mike the One. Paul Minor, the administration has performed below expectation. That's his feedback. How do you tax someone housing levy they own and one they don't need another? Then, of course, talking about shift reductions escalated, but with poor services. So that's talking about the healthcare. Kenya Daima says, Eliud is throwing demographics around, making it feel as though MSMEs wouldn't exist without the Hustler Fund. So ask him the average amount that they lend based on that population and then do the math. All right.
There's Charlie who says, Ruto at 3, gains, affordable housing, ongoing, stable shilling, failures, high cost of living despite subsidies and tax measures, mounting public debt and unpopular finance acts, corruption, wastage and governance gaps still unresolved, like his quotes, SHA, e-citizen scandals as among those on the top, and then Gen Z killings. Yeah. So all this feedback coming in.
Yes.
Very, very much. A lot of it. And we can go sector by sector, but looking at health as being the next big one. And I think this will be a common theme as we try to track Kenya Kwanza's promises, is that on a macro level, it always seems that the government is delivering, achieving, doing, launching. But from Kenyans' experiences, there's often a big discrepancy, and the same applies to health. You talked about how many Kenyans have been registered on SHA, 25.6 million, the amount of money that has been collected, the amount of money that has been dispersed.
Yes.
Yes, you've also spoken to that. Now, registered is one thing. How many are contributing, right? How many Kenyans on SHA are contributing? Because the idea is that, yes, it's a pool of money that we are all able to tap into when we need it. That's question one. Number two would then be, as much as 25.6 million Kenyans have been registered, 660 billion shillings has been collected. From a usage point of view, a lot of Kenyans still have no understanding of how SHA works, how their contributions work. Even the ones that do contribute don't understand how the different levels work. Do I go to a level 2 when I have a cold, or do I just go to Kenyatta National Hospital and start from there? That's number one. Number two, the corruption. That one is, I think, it speaks for itself. But we can start with the ghost hospitals and ghost facilities that have been revealed. Even when the numbers don't make sense from RUPA, they say, you know what, we don't have these ghost facilities on our end. So who is allowing them, or, you know, having them get paid?
Yeah, who's funding them to operate? And then, of course, the out-of-pocket issue as well. There's supposed to be SHA covering, but you're paying out of pocket. So a myriad of issues, to Mariam's point.
Yes, as far as healthcare is concerned. The lack of clarity as well as far as packages are concerned. A lot of people will say, I've gone to hospital with something that required, you know, attention, was chronic in nature. I was told my cap is at 550,000, but my disease doesn't end at 550,000, right? So clarity as far as packages are concerned. Please answer all of those as we continue to dig into health.
Now, the primary objective of SHA was to facilitate universal health coverage. To the extent that those who are able to pay can supplement for those who are not able to pay. So I don't think that we should measure the performance indicator in SHA on the basis of the number of people who are contributing. That was not the bottom line. The bottom line was to see how each and every Kenyan can afford what? Afford healthcare. And that is why the government has come up with mechanisms of ensuring that it is not only those who are in formal employment who are getting access to SHA. So let us not use the number of people who are contributing to SHA as the indicator. We want a universal... Just hold on. Okay. Hold on. If there is a Kenyan who cannot contribute to SHA, what stops those who are capable of contributing to SHA from subsidizing?
Nothing.
So to the extent that they can access...
There's something that stops it. The law. Okay? The law mandates everybody to contribute to the Social Health Insurance Fund. Okay? And even those that are then declared that these are unable to, the law mandates us as taxpayers through our taxes to support them.
That's what I'm talking about.
Right? And that's where now we say
those who can
X
afford
number of people are declared, there's a terminology that now people don't want to use, indigent. That these ones are unable to pay. So taxes shall pay for them. And those are the minority. The vast majority, according according to the law,
Yeah.
is that everybody must contribute to the social health insurance fund.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
Now, you've said you've collected about 67, is it? How much?
64, about 64 billion.
64 billion shillings.
And disbursed in equal measure
From
about
all
61 billion.
all these members.
Yeah.
Mariam's question, and the question at large by everybody,
Yeah.
is how many of these members are actually contributing to the social health insurance fund? The health of this fund
Yeah.
is
It's
purely based on contribution.
Absolutely. And yes, take away the issue of the people who cannot contribute,
Yeah.
because that is a small percentage of the population.
Yeah.
The idea of this was also to spread that burden across,
Yeah.
but it seems to be still a burden of largely the formerly employed.
Yeah.
But go on.
I don't have the statistics or in terms of percentages on the contribution levels. I would be wrong to give you exact statistics today. I can check, get back to you, or I can get people from Ministry of Health to come here and give you those statistics.
I think that we can just look at it and say,
Yeah.
if you have 25.6 million people who have registered to the Social Health Authority,
Yeah.
and only 64 billion shillings has been collected, then it's a minority of these 25 million members who are contributing to SHIF.
Yeah.
The question is, why? What is the government doing to have more and more people voluntarily contribute to this big pool called the Social Health Insurance Fund?
Why would people not be contributing? Is perhaps because they don't have the disposable income. But that is why we are widening the economic base to ensure that even those who are not in formal employment before can get into gainful economic activity, courtesy of initiatives such as the Hustler Fund. Yeah.
There's
Was it-
about
yeah.
3 million Kenyans from the latest, this is data from KNBS, I'll get the report. But yeah, 3 million Kenyans, 3 to 3.3 million
Yeah.
contributing
Yeah.
out of the 25 million
Yes.
who are registered. So the idea of universal health coverage, again, is predicated on everyone contributing to this pool, and then when you need it, you're able to dip into the pool and get your health coverage. So if only 3 out of the 25 million, as a percentage, I don't even want to do that math. My gosh,
Yeah, it's a huge gap.
it's 12%. 12% of Kenyans contributing to SHA. What are the other 88% doing? Again, the burden continues to be largely carried by those who are formerly employed.
And it's unsustainable.
It's
It will
Yes.
basically collapse.
And
But in the fullness of time, we are going to bridge that gap. The more we get more Kenyans into gainful economic activity, courtesy of some of these initiatives that we are rolling out, we will get more and more people having disposable income, and they'll be able to contribute.
Yeah, but it may not be as easy as that, because, again, going back to some of the issues that were raised, the foundation is so shaky, whether it's the ghost hospitals, whether it's the workers' strike. I think SHA is looking at it in one way, but the ecosystem is quite fragmented. So it may not be as easy to say over time we'll be able to bridge that gap when the other issues are bedeviling the entire system.
Those are cases and issues which must be dealt with decisively. Yeah? If there are ghost hospitals, and I believe the investigating agencies are already on this, we need to find out who are the owners of these ghost hospitals, whom are they conniving with within government to have money siphoned out, and then they are dealt with according to the law. I mean, we cannot continue like this, where we have got a few individuals benefiting from taxpayers' money through dubious means.
Universal health coverage was the goal. When we say the highest attainable quality of healthcare, which is guaranteed in the Constitution, that means it's accessible, one, that people know also that it's accessible. The information gap is another big one. Kenyans seem largely to not have an understanding of how SHA works, what the primary healthcare fund is, what the emergency and critical care fund is, what SHIF, what the middle one is called SHIF. Yes, SHIF is, all of these things. So even if they don't need to understand all of that, when they go to a hospital, they need to know what to go, when to go where. When do I go to my community health promoter? When do I go to what was called a dispensary? When do I go to KU teaching and referral hospital? That information are not there. So I feel like when we say we want the highest attainable level quality of healthcare, that's a big, big, big gap as well. What do you say to that?
Sensitization, I would appreciate, has not been up to date, but the Ministry of Health has recognized this, and they are coming up with appropriate measures to ensure that we have got massive sensitization of all Kenyans on all aspects of SHA, starting with the services available, how you access it, the categories of the hospitals, and so on and so forth. That is an area we need to improve on, granted.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can stay on healthcare for a while. I was going to say housing.
We could.
We could stay at each for an hour.
Yeah.
And yeah, let's go to housing. You want to start on the housing matter as well?
Yes.
The promise, as you said, is the promise was 200,000 housing units per year.
Per year, yes.
And you said you've done 160,000 in 3 years.
Yes, 161 actually.
161,000.
Yes.
What does that mean? 161,000 houses completed?
The major contributing factor here was the legal challenges that we had at the beginning. We lost quite a substantial proportion of time. But from the moment now we rolled out this program, I can state that we are in a good state. We are behind schedule, but we are in good state. And it is one of the areas that perhaps we are going to have the greatest impact as this government, as a Kenya Kwanza government, in terms of delivery.
Okay. You know, Mr. Owalo, let's say that 2022, 2023, you are facing all these legal challenges.
Yes.
Cases in court, don't have a law in place that would help you to raise the money that is required for housing.
Yeah.
2024, that was cleared.
Yeah.
2025, you don't have any legal challenge currently.
Yeah.
The promise is that 200,000 housing units would be complete every year.
Every year, yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
Do we have 200,000 housing units that were completed in 2024? Do we have 200,000 housing units extra that will be completed in 2025? That would be the measure of whether you're actually on track.
What is the
Because when you say that you've done 160,000 housing units, that is houses that are just under construction currently.
Let me ask
not
you,
completed.
Let me ask you, Eric, if you are talking of 200,000 houses per year, the cumulative total of that in 5 years will be 1 million houses, isn't it? What happens if we surpass the targets in the subsequent years to recover what we have lost?
The remaining 2 years?
Yeah, we still have 2 years to go.
You have not completed the 160,000.
No, most of them are either completed or under construction.
So it is completely unlikely that in the next 2 years, you're going to start and complete 800,000 houses.
Yeah, and what I'm saying...
The question of what happens if you surpass, that is not a question.
Yeah, but I've appreciated that we are behind schedule in terms of the housing target. But we look forward to regaining what we have lost in the subsequent years. We still have 2 years to go. We may not necessarily meet the target threshold, but we will actually realize substantial gains.
What was the target of the number of jobs to create? What was the government's target? Was it 1 million? Was it 800,000? How many jobs did you project that you were going to create? Because you've talked about, for housing, 330,000.
Yeah.
What was the target, though?
The target would be about 1 million jobs.
1 million jobs.
Per year?
No, not per year, sum total, through the housing program, cumulatively, And we have done 330. We are not doing badly.
Okay.
In another 2 years, we should be able to manage that.
I know affordable housing was a promise of the Kenya Kwanza administration. I'll ask the question that many Kenyans are asking, and which also speaks to how do we change tact while listening to the people, and it's part of the reason why there were so many court cases. Nani hana kwao? Do Kenyans want and need these houses in this way? It came up as one, there was a lot of lack of clarity. Is this a levy? Is this a tax? People didn't understand. When I pay for an affordable housing unit, am I automatically entitled to get one? Or is this just money that goes somewhere and I still have to separately apply and find this house? All of that. So again, there's been very little clarity as to who gets what house, how do I get a house? I'm contributing, but does that guarantee me a house? Did I say I needed a house? As much as it was a promise, where is the room for listening to people? Nani alisema sina kwangu, nahitaji nyumba. Aya. Again, a lot of the people who are contributing may not end up getting these houses. So from that perspective, it does feel unfair. I know it is a key promise of the Kenya Kwanza government, but nani hana kwao? Nani alisema hana kwao nahitaji nyumba?
Now, You know, this government was elected on the basis of a transformative agenda by doing things that would look extraordinary. But to change a country, at times you have to take certain measures to change a country. Otherwise, we will just be in a vicious circle of doing the same things every other time, yeah? One of the fundamental ways of changing this country is to make sure that there is decent housing. Look at the number of Kenyans who are living in slums all over the place, yeah? There are countries which were at the same level as Kenya at independence, but have undertaken some of these initiatives like Singapore. And now they are some of the fastest growing developing countries in the world. So that is what transformational leadership is all about. You must have a plan. And if you have got a plan, you must live that plan. In the fullness of time, you will be able to realize your objectives. Yeah.
Will the people living in informal settlements be accorded or given affordable housing? They must still apply, right?
Oh yes,
they must
absolutely.
Still get on Bomayango. They must still get on Bomayango, put a down payment, right?
Yeah.
And then continue to pay for the house. I don't think if I'm living in an informal settlement, I'm in a position to afford a down payment for a brick and mortar house.
Right.
If I'm living in a mabati house and you're asking me to pay a down payment for now a brick and mortar house, I think a lot of the affordable houses will end up going to people who can afford them, and those are people who are probably lower to upper middle class all the way up. So then that does leave the question of, does that help the people who are living in informal settlements, or is it affordable housing but affordable housing for those who can afford?
Yeah, it locks out some people.
You know, anybody who is paying rent today is servicing mortgage for somebody. That is the reality. If you are paying rent, you are helping somebody service a mortgage. Why can't you pay that to live in your own house? That is the bottom line.
Right, and when you've done any of the conversations with the people that Mariam is referencing, because I think to stay on track, there has to be understanding that they can afford it. But what are they saying? Are they telling you, we can afford it, or are they saying, this doesn't make sense to me? What are you hearing?
You know, there are Kenyans who are actually jumping onto the opportunity. We have got people who are actually waiting on the queue, who have actually applied for this for these houses, and they are waiting for them to get finished.
Eliud, let me ask you, with all these promises, you know, talking about whether it's SHA membership, whether it's a Hustler Fund, is there room, and is the government pausing and reviewing? Because what it sounds like in a lot of these cases is it will continue to roll out. Let's just roll.
No.
There's 2 years remaining. You've seen all these massive gaps, right? And yes, you have said, in order to transform, we need to take some risks. But as you continue to get the feedback, whether it's about affordable housing, whether it's about the Hustler Fund and the default ETC, is the government now pausing and reviewing some things? Or are you saying we're just going to go like a train?
You know what? We did undertake a midterm review recently. And anytime you have a plan and you undertake a review, there are lessons learned which should inform what you are going to do moving forward. Where we realized that we had set ambitious targets, of ambitious targets, we lose nothing by scaling down those targets. And that is now work in progress.
Fundamentally, which is the biggest review that you're currently making from all of these key deliverables that you promised Kenyans?
We are looking at the performance so far, the targets that we set, the gaps that we need to close within the time available over the next 2 years, and where the targets are realistic, we will scale down. We lose nothing by scaling down, because these targets are set by human beings. We can actually scale them down by human beings. They are not cast on stone. And that is a model for monitoring and evaluation all over the world. You can set a target. As you implement, certain extraneous factors come into play. If you realize the targets were overambitious at the time of planning, you can scale down, and there's nothing wrong. It's not criminal.
Absolutely. The key here is the communication. Because the communication that started off is, this is the target that we have, and this is the basis upon which you shall judge me. Okay. So, and
just to get back to you, you see, what do we lose when we go to Kenyans at an appropriate time, if need be, and say, in this space, this is what we promised, but based on these extraneous factors which came into play, we were unable to meet those targets. And this is what we have achieved. There's nothing wrong with that.
So you don't think you lose anything, right?
No. There's nothing wrong with that.
I agree with you. You lose nothing.
No.
You actually come back and communicate.
Yeah.
You even gain more because you appear like, you're a trustworthy person.
Yeah.
There are platforms that are provided constitutionally for the president to come and give a progress report on some of these things. Yeah. One, Parliament, the State of the Nation address. Yeah. Others, in all these other platforms and communication.
Yeah. And he has also appointed me to this position to give you the progress report.
To come and give the progress report.
Yeah.
So the conversation then here is, when you come in to give the progress report, come and say, so this is it, this was the target, because of these challenges, we are revising the target upwards, or we are actually extending the target on this one. Yeah. We do not expect that so many people are going to borrow money from the Hustler Fund. Yeah. We have seen so many borrowing, so we're actually expanding this. We had said we are going to put 50 billion shillings. Yeah. We have only done 30. We're actually going to put 70 billion shillings into this one, because you can see this one is an acceleration factor. This one, there's challenges, and we are reducing. The target was 200,000 housing units. We are reducing it. We're only saying 50,000 housing units.
When you call me next time.
The Cabinet Secretary, we were talking about this earlier, for housing, was here in March. No, in February. And she told us that come the end of March, we are going to launch the, how many housing units in Mukuru?
Close to 4,000.
5,000
Close to 5,000.
4,888 housing units in Mukuru. And thereafter, every quarter, we shall be releasing 5,000 housing units. You didn't meet the target for 4,888 houses in March, and you have not met the target for 5,000 every quarter. So the expectation is that now you come and say, realistically, this is what we are doing. The houses are at this point, so by end of 2025, we shall have this number of houses done. 2026, all these others that are in the pipeline, they should be complete in these particular stages. So everybody knows, even as I'm going to Bomayangu, I know I am looking for a house that I will not get until 2029.
I did say, Eric, that we recently undertook a midterm review. And when you call me here next time, I'll be able to give you a detailed results matrix. This is what we promised. This is what our midterm review has revealed. This is the corrective measure we have undertaken. Okay. Where we feel we can do more, we will tell you here we are upscaling. We are going a notch higher. Where we feel we need to scale down, I'll give you the statistics as to the areas where we are scaling down. The data is under analysis.
Okay. There are several questions that people are asking that they'd like us to ask you, and you can stay on for a couple of more minutes after this break. You come and ask. We are running a poll as well, asking people 3 years in, how would you rate the Ruto administration's performance? And we're using the CBC grading, which is?
Below expectation, approaching expectation, meeting expectation, exceeding.
Yeah. You can go to a social media platform on YouTube, on Facebook and X, and answer that. Then we'll come also and look at agriculture, which was one of the key pillars that he said was agriculture. We are hosting Eliud Owalo. He is the Deputy Chief of Staff in the presidency, in charge of delivery and government efficiency. 3 years in, has the Ruto administration delivered what it promised to Kenyans? We are still here with Eliud Owalo, who is the Deputy Chief of Staff in charge of delivery and government efficiency in the Executive Office of the President. We are looking at 3 years of the Ruto administration, which will be marking on the 13th of September. That's the day that the President took office formally and officially. And the scorecard, how has he performed? We are asking you to also contribute to this, and we'll be opening up the phone lines now so that you can also tell us, what do you see? Has the Ruto administration delivered on the promise, or has it not? The issue of agriculture, Eliud, you talked about, what you've done. You said the first thing that you did was to go into the inputs.
Yes.
Fertilizer price was very high at 7,500 shillings. And you brought in a subsidy that now said the farmers can buy at 2,500.
Yes.
Subsidy basically means that taxpayers are bridging the gap. Yes. It doesn't mean that the price suddenly you have negotiated with the supplier. Right?
Absolutely, yes.
So the government was bridging the other 5,000 shillings gap, and the farmers would do this. You said as a result of that, we have seen an increase in the production of maize, a drop in the price of unga from the initial 260 shillings. You say now 2 kilogram packet is 165 shillings, which is something significant. Mandela asks, kindly ask Eliud why, when the government agents are asked to elaborate in details the progress of agriculture, their only reference point is the price of unga and nothing else.
No. I'll give
Why are they obsessed with ugali? Ama hiyo ndio shida ya Kenya?
No, but let me ask you. Ugali is a staple food.
Yes.
If you want to know we have performed in that area, do you see anybody on the street with a sufria on the head anymore? That's a performance indicator.
They may not be on the streets, but are they complaining? Yes, people are still complaining about the cost of living.
Yeah. But agriculture contributes about 54% of the cost of living index. That's why we focused in that area.
Okay.
And I don't think it is fair to say we only talk about the price of ugali. There are fundamental gains we have realized in agriculture. In the sugar industry, for example, the sugar companies were largely dead. We have come up with a model of leasing these sugar factories to the private sector. Today, they are back on their feet, being run by the private sector. Farmers are being paid in time. The level of importation in sugar, in fact, last year we did not import any sugar. That's a performance indicator. The dairy industry, there are fundamental gains, reforms in the tea industry, the coffee industry, livestock industry. We are revitalizing. We are looking at tanning as one of the new dimensions that we can pursue to tap into resource mobilization in the domestic economy. So there are fundamental gains in the agriculture. It's not just about maize alone.
In the plan, this is the Kenya Kwanza manifesto, agriculture was being approached in two ways. One, agriculture as a multiplier.
Yes.
Agriculture will provide job opportunities.
Yes.
It's the largest employer in the country.
Yes.
Agriculture will provide the spurring of micro enterprises.
Yes.
Because of value addition.
Yes.
And having those, cottage industries.
Yes.
And then agriculture will contribute to food security.
Yes.
Let's talk about jobs in agriculture.
We have over 1 million jobs which have been created along the chain, the agricultural value chain.
How do we measure that?
In agriculture. The statistics are there. We can actually, next time I can give you the details as to which jobs are
focusing on.
Yeah.
Pick any and tell me that in this particular agriculture value chain, we have new small industries that have come up, micro industries that have come up, and they're employing this number of people.
Sunflower is work in progress. Rice, we have done quite a lot. Cotton is being revitalized in places like Nyanza, just to mention but a few.
Yeah, but that's just saying, Eliud. There's nothing that you've mentioned here. You said sunflower is work in progress.
Yeah.
And what else have you said is work in progress? Cotton. Cotton in progress.
Yeah.
One of the largest producers of cotton in the country is Homa Bay County. Your home county.
Yeah.
No, you're from.
That's neither here nor there. Homa Bay County. Yes.
And we were there for the devolution conference.
Yes.
And we still do not have the ginneries operating. It's still work in progress.
Yes.
So, where is the employment?
Coming from,
In the leather sector, we still don't have tanneries that have come up. So where is the employment? Same thing I'd ask you. In what else did you talk about? Rice.
Rice,
In the rice sector, where is the employment? Where are the new companies that are creating this employment?
The level of activity, agricultural activity in those sectors has come up. It takes time to come up with the cottage industries because it requires also direct capital inflow from the private sector. But the mere fact that we have got people who are idle but are now taking part in those agricultural activities, that's gainful employment in itself.
How are you addressing farmers that still continue to complain about delayed payments? Because you also want to...
In which sector specifically?
Tea. Let's talk about the tea sector because I think that's also faced some significant issues. Tea farmers protesting low bonus payments. Certain regions, low bonuses per kilogram. Reports that tea export value is high, but the bonus distribution is contentious. How are you addressing that?
The Ministry of Agriculture and the Ministry of Cooperative are working jointly to streamline that space. Granted, there have been certain challenges, but that space is being streamlined.
Okay.
Through joint effort between the Ministry of Cooperatives and the Ministry of Agriculture.
Okay. I'm looking at ICT. Again, a lot of what the government gives data on is macro. And whenever we get to the micros, that's when things start to really, the pain points start to show. The ICT sector, there's 24,000 kilometers of fiber having been laid, Wi-Fi hotspots, devices being distributed, digital hubs, and 300,000 digital jobs. When you say digital jobs, what does that mean?
We have young Kenyans working online. They have undergone the digital skilling training and now they are working online. They are working for different companies all over the world.
Okay. They're working for different companies all across the world. When I think of the digital sector, I'm also thinking of digital service tax that was contentious, introduced, then pushback, then we move forward. I'm thinking of companies that have had to pull out of Kenya, pull out of monetizing in Kenya because, again, the tax regime has been very hard to predict. Twitch is a great example. They do online streaming where, you stream as you're gaming, you make money from the streaming. They said, you know what, we can no longer monetize in Kenya because of this and this and this and this policy. So the fiber is being laid, the Wi-Fi hotspots are there, but from a policy perspective, I don't think we've done much to push for these digital jobs. The 300,000 jobs again, can they all be attributed to government? Or is it Kenyans just pushing themselves?
You see, the primary objective of government is to create an enabling policy, legal and regulatory environment for the private sector to thrive. If those jobs are being created by the private sector, so be it. We have got so many. If you go to Thika here, what do you call that? Tatu City. There's an ICT private sector entity there, which has set up a major digital hub, and we have got thousands of youth. I think there are about 6,000 youth working in that facility and working for so many companies all over the world. We have so many such companies. When I was, let me take you back, when I was CSICT, I did come up with, we knew about some of these challenges you are talking about. And I did constitute a sector working group to review all the laws, policies, and regulations in the ICT sector to make it more user-friendly to the private sector. That task force submitted its report recently, and CS Kabogo and his team, working together with stakeholders in the industry, have validated the report, and it is now the stage of implementation. The recommendations coming up from that report. So all these challenges you are talking about tax regimes, laws, regulations, they are going to be streamlined.
Okay. I do wonder where this stakeholder engagement was before the rollout of the taxes, before the rollout of the policies, and so on and so forth. Because we always find ourselves in this predicament where something is quickly rolled out without thinking through the consequences, and then when people start losing income, or they're not able to access services, then it's like, okay, let's rethink. But you've said that the sector working group has now given its report.
Yes.
So it'll be implemented, or what's the next step?
The next step now, I want you to specifically get that answer from CS Kabogo and his team. It's unfair for me to speak on their behalf because I was in that station before.
Speaking of ICT, the Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Act has been, and I think I want to just segue into now the other big elephant in the room. The Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Act has been weaponized quite a bit over the last 2 years, with a lot of people either being charged with things that are considered cybercrimes, but it's posting a meme of the president, for example. The government's work is to create an enabling environment and to have policies that work, and of course to make sure that we are able to grow the digital economy. But the same government is also weaponizing a law that is called archaic by many people. So let's speak into that as we segue into the killings, abductions, and the curtailing of human rights. And I'll ask you to hold that thought because we also have a caller. I know there's a lot of things coming at you at the same time, but maybe you can just write down so you don't forget. I'm sorry, I know it's a lot. But let's hear from Victor. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
This call is now being recorded.
What is your question or comment, Victor?
I'm Victor Kemboy, calling from a place called Dua in this place of Wasingishu. Now, my comment is on matters agriculture. You find before the coming in of His Excellency President William Ruto, there was a lot of problems in agriculture sector, especially almost I can say a breadbasket zone in Kenya. That was in Gishu, and in fact I'm almost to the Mpaka Trans Nzoia. Now, I used to buy one bag of 50 kg fertilizer at 7,500. But today, as I'm talking, if you come to these sites of Wasingishu, you will get to know why nowadays the price of unga is actually down. Is because we have enough maize this time. You come to the mashamba yetu, in fact, you will actually appreciate what the president has done, this government has done. Mahindi saizi, it's plenty. In fact, I should ask the government to look for a place for actually kuuza mahindi mengine. Number two, let me talk of internet connectivity. Here at Ziwa, we are a municipality, and we have a digital hub that is almost complete now. In fact, very soon, the computers will be brought to this digital hub. It is actually to 90% completion as I'm talking. And I appreciate what the president has done. You know, with the leadership that is actually being felt on the ground, saizi kwa ground mambo ni tofauti. You can tell what the government has done. Right. Lastly, I can comment even on the tarmac roads. As I'm talking, I'm from Soy constituency. And we have a tarmac road from Ziwa all the way to Ziwa Machine, all the way to Cheblelaibel to Favarol. It is ongoing. Tarmac roads that to begin from Nyalilbe all the way to Barsombe, and actually tarmac from Kerotet all the way to Moshbridge. Go to Kuinet Kapsuswa, tarmacking is on, and fixing of electricity. It is actually to a different level now. Almost all the villages wanaweka stima. That is visible. Okay. You know, when
Victor, you sound happy with the government.
The president in 3 years, I can, out of 10, I can give President William Ruto 7. Out of 10, I can give President William Ruto 7.
So is that meeting expectation or exceeding expectation?
He is actually meeting expectation. And as time goes, if all these ongoing projects will come to completion, actually the president will exceed expectation. But as at now, he has actually met the expectation.
Right.
That is my view.
Thank you, Victor.
Thank you, Victor. Thank you so much. I think you've spoken to a lot. The digital hub in your ward is almost complete. The cost of fertilizer going down. Tarmacking of roads around Ziwa. Electricity connectivity as well. You've given the president a scorecard of 7 out of 10. Thank you, Victor, for your feedback. And I think, Eliud, you can speak to that a little bit.
Yes.
But let's get back into the question. And we were in ICT. I was talking about the weaponization of the Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Act.
Yes.
Yesterday, there was a case in court being heard of a social media user, I've forgotten his name, I think it's Victor, but I don't want to misname him, who was basically charged with computer misuse because he posted a picture of President William Ruto in a casket. And during the testimony yesterday, it was revealed that the telecom provider had provided his location to the DCI without a court order. So an illegality there, but also the general weaponization of the Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Act. Anti-terrorism courts also being misused. The Wall Street Journal yesterday was speaking about the fact that courts that have been funded by the U.S. Department of Justice, if I'm not wrong, are being now misused to basically, charge people with terrorism in cases where it's clearly not. And these are mainly protesters who end up being charged with terrorism at the Kahawa law courts. I did not actually know that they were US-funded courts initially, but that was from the Wall Street Journal.
Those contribution, of course.
Yes, not fully funded, of course, yes. But so the Wall Street Journal put it as, US-funded.
It's about the rights
courts.
here.
Yes, I'm just
rights of citizens and threading it.
Yes, yes. Continuing into abductions, killings, basically the pushback on civil liberties that we've seen. President William Ruto also spoke to an end to these things. No more bodies in River Yala, no more abductions, etc. All of these were promises, were part of the Kenya Kwanza promise. Speak to that.
I don't support killings, extrajudicial killings, neither do I support abductions. I don't. But I believe that any individuals who are proven to be involved in this, they need to face the full force of the law. But while talking about this, look at the Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Act, for example. When you operationalize it in view of also other existing other existing laws. Yeah, any law in the course of operationalization, yeah, will be looked at within the context of also other existing laws. You have got your rights, yeah, but that right also does not allow you to infringe on the rights of another person. But I don't want to talk about this because it is some of these are cases which are ongoing in court. Yeah, we let the law take its course. But at a personal level, I don't support abductions. I don't support extrajudicial killings. I believe that the law should take its course to a logical conclusion.
That's on a personal level, but we're speaking to you as the Deputy Chief of Staff for delivery, government efficiency. From a government perspective, is because these excesses, these abductions, they all tie back to government.
Right.
So then that's a big question that I think.
But the
still needs
president
to be
himself
answered.
has come out and stated clearly that anybody who is involved in abductions needs to face the full force of the law. Who are abducting people?
Eliud, I think when I look at the delivery of the 3 years, the elephant in the room a lot of the time is that. It's about trust in the government. It's about people saying, are we being honest with numbers when it comes to some of the numbers that are being presented? Are we fixing core sectors like education? So it's not to undermine delivery, and we have a right to question it. But I think the bigger thing is even something like corruption, because corruption seeps into sometimes the lack of delivery in a lot of these things. Kenya Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission reported that corruption costs an estimated 608 billion Kenya shillings annually. That's as of May 2025. Significant increase in bribery to access public services, especially after devolution. Data from 2024 EACC National Ethics and Corruption Survey shows bribery remains high, while the Afrobarometer reports that the perceived corruption in some civil servant sectors is higher than the African average. I don't think it's too far removed to bring this specific issue into context. And I think even when you see, is it exceeding expectation? Is it meeting expectation? There could be that you're meeting expectation, but as long as the elephants in the room, corruption, extrajudicial killings, weaponization of acts remain high, then it, number one, it can even cloud any progress that's been made. We've heard the caller say, here where I am, it's working. Other people may say, here where I am, it's working. General perspective and perception is it clouds all that if that isn't fixed. So what's the approach to doing these things concurrently and honestly? One thing is talking about the delivery, the other one is fixing these very broken elements. Big pitfalls.
In the latest executive order, if you have had a cross scrutiny on it, the president has established a government efficiency office. Again, that has been assigned to me to re-engineer processes, oversee the re-engineering of processes in government and ensure that we have got efficiency and efficacy in delivery of government services. Let me state that government, from where I sit, based on the functional domain that I've been tasked to execute, we will do everything possible to ensure that we seal all the loopholes for revenue leakages in government. If there is any individual who will be found culpable by way of dipping his hands into public coffers, we will work with the relevant government agencies to ensure that such a person meets the full force of the law. I'll give you also another example of what I've encountered in delivery, where I go out a lot to look at projects in the field. We have had instances where certain people serving in government are also contractors at the same time. They are the people awarding themselves contracts. They go out there to execute the contract, they pay themselves, and we are going to zero in on these people. My position from where I sit is that if you are in government and you want to do business with government, get out of government and go to the private sector and do business. But so long as I'm still sitting in this position, we will rein in on those individuals who are in government but also doing business with government.
How will you do that?
It's very easy, because if you have a project which is proven to be awarded to a government officer and implementation becomes a challenge. I'm talking from the perspective of delivery, because that's where I've encountered the problem. Individuals who are perceived to be in government connive with certain contractors. We award contracts. At times, a contractor takes up jobs more than the capacity that he can execute because he has certain links in government. We will go ahead and blacklist those contractors and debar them from taking part in government projects in future.
Before we let you continue, we have a caller from Nandi called Dennis who wants to contribute to this conversation. Dennis, good morning. Do you have a question?
But I wish you allowed me to prosecute this to a logical conclusion because I don't want to miss this.
Morning.
Yeah, just hold the point so that we don't lose the caller. Yes, Dennis, you have a question or comment?
Yeah, good morning. I'm from Nandi County and Hills constituency. Okay, so mine is just to mention but a few the highlights of this KK government and the laws. So the first thing is the issue of job creation. As you can see, most of our youth, some of them have gone to abroad. You can see them going to Dubai. You can see them Spain, all over. So this government has actually given us equal opportunities when it comes to empowerment. And as well when it comes to infrastructure. You can see roads are being constructed, like the famous one, Himakin and Hills Road, that has been in the contention when it comes to politicking, when it comes to the general election. We see these leaders coming, saying this, but we can see the progress in ground. The heavy machineries are there, the construction is ongoing. The likes of Koitalel somewhere in Nandi Hills, where I come from, the university is running. You can see the construction are there, and also the market that the president is building. So the promise of bottom up, you can see Mama Mboga is enjoying it, the promise that was delivered. You can see these modern markets. They have the best facilities. Mama Mboga can go there and breastfeed, as well as is still selling his goods. So that is good. This is a dignified country that we wanted, and you can see the promises are being delivered. We just give time to this government, and we want the opposition to tell us, as they want to counterattack the system, the ideas of the president, they should as well come with a platform or a blueprint of where they want to put our country.
Right.
Because
thank you so much, Dennis. We do need to take a break. Eliud, you'll come back and speak to what it is you had discussed, because you wanted to draw a conclusion to it. But it's coming up to 8:30. We're still in studio with Eliud Owalo, Deputy Chief of Staff, Delivery and Government Efficiency, talking about Ruto's 3-year scorecard. We'll be back to continue the conversation. Nakola?
Yes, we do have a caller, Annette from Muranga. Yes, good morning, Annette.
Yes, good morning.
What's your question or comment for Eliud?
Okay, first I want to thank you for Edwin on call and making him to explain to us. My question is, kwa hii nini tunakatwa every month ya housing levy. Okay, nataka atuexplainie vizuri. Ulikuwa umemuuliza but sikushika the explanation. Now that kila mwezi tunakatwa pesa, how will we know ndo nyumba yangu, like at the end of the day ndajua aje hii nyumba ndo nimekuwa nikilipia?
Right. So,
I want you to explain that so well that mimi nielewe.
Wacha nianze na your understanding of your pesa unakatwa. It's ni kama unalipia nyumba yako, si ndio?
Yeah.
That's your understanding. So you want to know utajuaje nyumba yako iko wapi?
But sijui nyumba yangu iko wapi.
Yeah. So thank you. Let him answer, and I think that speaks to the questions around information and
I think
her perception is affordable housing. If you're taking this 2.7, then that means I am paying for a house. So where's my house?
I think we need to do more sensitization in both.
That it is. She's
So
not paying for a house. What is affordable
money?
housing?
Is it a contribution to the house? Is it contributing towards down payment? Is it a tax that does not come into any with her house? What is it? What's a housing levy?
The housing levy is basically meant to finance the affordable housing program. It does not mean that when you contribute, you are contributing to your own house at this stage. But for details, I think we'll get Pia Singa to come and do a proper explanation.
Okay. So there are two things in housing. There is the tax that is deducted to every employee. And then there is when you register onto Boma Yangu, there is what you're encouraged to contribute as a saving towards your house.
Yes.
Which of those two goes to my house?
The one which is on Boma yangu.
That goes to my house?
Yes.
That's a deposit to my house?
Yes.
And the tax?
The tax is a statutory contribution towards the fund.
5,000
just the way you pay any other tax, yeah.
I don't know if Annette is still on the line, but I hope she's okay, she's hung up. But yes, that's a big gap as far as people understanding what affordable housing is, how it works. Because for a lot of people, is it a levy, is it a contribution, is it a tax? What are the differences between those? If it's a contribution, then that means it's like a down payment into my future house, which is why Annette is wondering, how do I know where and where my house is and how do I get it?
And Boma yangu is supposed to be a dashboard that also provides quite a bit of this information. So maybe it's
a question of sensitization, Janet, because people may not even know that the information exists, even if it exists. So we need to do more in that area, accept, and we'll improve on it.
Okay, and there's another dashboard. I know you were still talking about perception versus delivery. We'll come back to that because you said you wanted to conclude. But you mentioned, I think at some point during the break, that there's a dashboard where people can see progress per county. Is that correct?
Yes, and I've already shared it with Eric. You can go to any county and you see all the government projects in that country and you can actually ascertain the status.
Okay.
I've shared it with Eric already.
We'll try and share that.
We'll share it in the group.
So you click on any county and you'll see all the government programs and projects ongoing in that country.
Right. I think you were still trying to draw that link.
The issue of the fight against
corruption.
corruption. But I want to start from the delivery side because this is what I've encountered in the field. I go out to the field a lot to monitor and ascertain the implementation status of various government projects. We have got certain contractors who take up more projects than they can actually execute. And when you dig deeper, you realize that in a given area, somebody has taken 3, 4, 5 projects. He's one contractor. He's used different companies. And this has been aided and abetted by certain individuals in government. And I want to state that the position of government is that contractors should take the number of projects they can effectively execute. And if we get to realize that a contractor deliberately takes up tenders, bids for more tenders than and then they undercut people by way of low pricing, that when it comes to implementation, they are not able to implement those projects, despite the government meeting their obligations by making the requisite payments, we will go ahead and blacklist those contractors and debar them, working with the relevant government agencies, debar them from taking part in government tenders in future, because this is public money. The government has got no money of its own. So we can't allow a situation, for example, where the government has already put in money in a project and the project stalls. That's something we are going to enforce moving forward. 2, those in government but want to do business, get out to the private sector and do business from the private sector. We are not going to allow conflict of interest where you are in government, but you are also doing business with government at the same time. This is also leading to stalling of some of these government projects, because once these projects have been awarded and they are not delivering, they are protected by the same individuals in government who own these companies by way of proxy. The brief I have from the president and the head of the public service to whom I report is that nobody is going to be spared in the fight against corruption. And that is why this office has been established, government efficiency. We are going to re-engineer and streamline all government processes to make sure that there's efficiency and efficacy in delivery of government services. We will work with the National Treasury and all the relevant government agencies to ensure that we seal all loopholes for corruption, including but not limited to digitalization as one of the aspects of doing that. But if anybody in government is found to be involved in illegally accessing public funds, courtesy of the positions which they hold in government, those individuals will be asked to step aside and subsequently they will face the full force of the law.
You know, Eliud, I hear you very well. I'm going to bring to your attention a phrase that is very common in this country. Mchezo wa town. Mchezo wa town is basically, you know, things that are done to hoodwink the public, or things that are done, you know what you're doing is wrong, but you still go ahead to do it. in all these statements that you're making, we've had these statements before. We are going to make sure that we fight corruption. We are going to make sure that there's efficient delivery of government service. We are going to make sure that, you know, anybody who is caught with their hand in a cookie jar will have their hand chopped off and then thrown to jail. All those things we've had, Eliud.
Let me tell you something.
For example, as you're going to the point of delivery, I'm not hearing you talking about at the point of procurement. There are laws that talk about the process of procurement.
But they are being circumvented. People are beating corners around the existing laws.
Now you're going to the guy who was caught not delivering on the project that he was contracted for, but you're not coming back here to the people who sat in a tender committee, reviewed a tender document. They should have reviewed the capacity of Eric to deliver on this project. They should have looked at all those things. They didn't.
That's why I've said...
They gave Eric the job.
That's why I've said...
Now you're saying you'll go and blacklist Eric, not even
But
jail
I've
him.
also said that if it is proven that there is connivance between individuals in government and those contractors, those individuals in the government will also face the full force of the law. And I did say from the beginning, I accepted that some of the pitfalls we are facing in delivery of government projects is because there are individuals in government who are conniving with these crooks.
Can I twist the question? What are you going to do on the procurement stage to ensure that the law is followed in procurement? Because if the law is followed in procurement, then these are things will not arise.
But this is one of the things we are doing. This is why we are going government procurement. And you can see the cartels fighting back. They don't want to go on digital platforms. I mean, if you want to streamline procurement, let's have everything digital. A tender is floated. Everybody knows the terms of references and the scope of work. You evaluate the technical proposals online. For financial proposals are opened. Everybody sees what everybody has quoted. It is awarded to so and so at this amount of money. You have got visibility of that process across the board. And then you tie it up to delivery. Once a tender is awarded for a project, you can also monitor the implementation. That's what we need to do. But people are fighting back because they want processes through which they can get capital gain, courtesy of their positions in government. And I don't think we are going to allow that. Let me also tell you something, Eric. You keep on saying that you have been told some of these things before.
Yes, many times.
By different people.
Yes.
I'm not one of those people. I've not grown in government. I was in the private sector until I got my first job in the year 2023 as a cabinet secretary, my first job in life. And I took the private sector culture into government. When I was a Ministry of ICT, that ministry was voted the least corrupt by the EACC. The records are there for everybody to see. And I believe in passion for results, and I believe in delivery. In the fullness of time, I believe I will be vindicated based on performance. And the results will be there for everybody to see.
You know, ultimately, the person in charge of this government is the head of government.
Yes.
And that's the president.
Yes.
He has made these promises before, even before he appointed you. And we have not seen the realization and delivery of some of these promises. In terms of fighting corruption, tightening fiscal management of our country, and so on and so forth. So
Eric,
it comes from that point.
Eric.
We are not looking at Eliud Owalo. We are looking at the government of the Republic of Kenya, headed by William Ruto.
Before I took up this position, I had a discussion with the president to understand my job description and what he expected me to do. And he told me to go and execute this mandate without fear or favor. And that's what I'm going to do.
When do you expect to see your first bite? I keep talking about here, dogs barking left, right, and center. But nothing in terms of biting. When should we expect? When should we judge you? Whether you are actually a dog with teeth.
Before even he answers that, let's start with your mandate, because again, it's something that's new to Kenyans, and we need an understanding of
what is this job?
What literally Deputy Chief of Delivery of Staff, Delivery and Government, Deputy Chief of Staff for Delivery and Government Efficiency.
In delivery, I'm supposed to help track, monitor, evaluate, and report on the implementation status of all government projects and programs. That is one. And ensure that we have adequate stakeholder engagement. 3, report by way of effective communication. And what I'm doing here this morning is part and parcel of that functional mandate. In the efficiency space, I'm expected to streamline government processes to facilitate efficiency in delivery. That includes, but is not limited to, re-engineering the processes, and also sealing any loopholes for revenue leakages.
Sealing loopholes for revenue leakages.
Yes.
Streamlining. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's hold that when we figure out the bark, when the bite comes in.
Yes.
We have a caller from Kakamega. I think his name is Eliud. Good morning, Eliud. Oh, Eliud.
Yes, good morning,
Sorry.
madam.
Apologies.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. What's your question or comment for?
I just wanted to comment one. One, I just want to comment Mr. Owalo. If all the CS were like Owalo, then Kenya could be moving in the right direction first. Then two, as per healthy progress, I think 70% of Kenyans are below. So now with the issue of lipa pole pole, it's like many Kenyans are dying because why? You can't access health and the facilities because it's a must that you just have to pay the full year or 4 months, and then that even 4 months, some of the people in Kenya even cannot manage it. So the government has to do something because you can't say that you are a good father, you cannot apply.
Sorry. Okay. Eliak, I think we're losing you a little bit, but I think we've gotten the gist of your question. It's on the Lipa Pole Pole proposals for SHA. Yes, which is people can't afford a yearly premium. Even that quarterly one is still strict.
We are coming up with that. We have actually put in place, not coming up, we are putting in place a framework through which the Ministry of Health can work with the Hustler Fund, so that anybody who wants to access that premium at one go and pay at one go can actually access that money from the Hustler Fund and pay. And then lipa pole pole to the Hustler Fund as opposed to the SHA, so that they can start instantly getting the service provision.
I think the feedback from him and from others who've called here before is that the 4 months is still an uphill task to many.
Yes.
Because you're talking about pay 4 months upfront and then borrow for the other 8 months from Hustler Fund, and that's what you'll be paying.
You can actually...
The 4 months is the problem.
Yes.
Can that be revised?
That
Can
is...
Lipa Pole Pole start with, you take the full amount, you'll pay later.
That is positive feedback, which we can consider moving forward in our processes.
Okay. So, Helen, when do we start to expect you to actually deliver on the job that you've been given by the president?
Yesterday.
Which is streamline.
I'm delivering.
And take people to court and stop all these thugs and blacklist.
No, I've been delivering since yesterday. You know, I'm a performer. You give me any job to do, I'll do it. If I can't do any job, I will not take it up. I'm a principled person in
Let me rate you. One of the things that you're supposed to do is effective communication. Okay? Beyond this, apart from this particular interview today, which we requested you to come and join us, we don't see much effective communication in government in terms of what government is doing and responding to people. These questions that are being asked here about SHA, about housing levy, about all that, point to a lack of clarity. And that is communication. That is your job, one. So not done. The second one is on this of ensuring that there is efficiency in the delivery of government service. And you're talking
I'm operationalizing this. This is something that came up in the executive order just about a month ago. I'm in the process of operationalizing it.
So back to my question. So when will this operationalization be completed to start seeing your work?
I'll operationalize as I work. I'll work as I operationalize.
Wow. Okay.
There are very many questions and comments also coming in on social media. And we'd like to ask you if you'd like to call in and rate the President William Ruto administration. Last 3 years of the Ruto administration, how would you rate it? And we're using the CBC marking scheme, which is below expectation, approaching expectation, meeting expectation, exceeding expectation.
Right. Emmanuel Templar. Let's go to Michael Mwangi. It's a mixed record, to be honest. The record is above average on saving the economy, infrastructure, job creation, but below average on austerity, fighting corruption, and handling criticism. The Kikombe says anyone who works for the government isn't willing to accept underperformance. On the corruption issue, tell us any big billion cases that government has tackled so far. Yani, nani ako jela? Had the case been withdrawn, ama ni watu kufutwa kazi tu. Somebody else here is saying, civic education, I think they're saying. Claims of people asking to exit government in order to transact with government is a tall order. But that's how things need to be done. Yeah, so mixed reactions. Some people saying, until they see, to Eric's point, the bite, it won't. I honestly think delivery, can delivery be successful if poor education, corruption, and human rights abuses persist? For me, that's a tough one. How do you say delivery, all these numbers and data, job creation, overseas jobs, tea earnings, dairy exports, roads construction, maize flour, and then there's that huge elephant. In fact, how do you measure success for deliverables by 2027? Is it projects? Is it proper education? Is it safer cities?
Or is it impact?
Or is it impact?
Impact. Sensitization is a facilitator. A means to an end. It's not an end in itself. Yeah.
Okay. When I'm looking through the scorecard, again, we've gone through all of these things. We've interrogated, the pain points in a lot of them. But I'm looking through the polls and the general feeling. The poll is at, it's been up for 2 hours now. 68% on YouTube voted that Ruto at 3, I would give below expectation. Approaching expectation, 12%. Meeting expectation, 11%. Exceeding expectation, that's 9%. On X, I think it's more or less the same, but let me just get the right numbers on X so that I don't misquote them. But I think it mirrors those numbers as well. Meeting expectation is, below expectation, 79%. Approaching expectation, 9%. Meeting expectation, 9%. Exceeding expectation, 9%. So this speaks to what is on the ground vis-a-vis what we see in the papers. For example, delivering the promised 3 years of Kenya Kwanza. What is the plan to bridge that gap?
You see, if you ask me, I think the challenge here has been ineffective stakeholder engagement, which we need to improve on. This is what is creating this negative perception. Government has done a lot, but at times I go out to inspect projects even within the counties. And when you tell people about the projects you are inspecting, they don't even know that those are national government projects. Some of them think they are county government projects. So we need to engage the stakeholders more and enhance communication. But at the end of it all, the exam at the end of the term will not be superfluous. It will be based on what we promised at the beginning. We will work with that work with the existing baseline. We will have very clear performance indicators and outcomes and impact. That is what is going to inform the marking scheme. So I ask Kenyans to be patient with us. And let's not cloud performance with political inclinations and perceptions. Those ones will come.
Let's be objective.
Let's be objective. Because we serve all Kenyans irrespective of their political parties of affiliation. Let us be objective. Let us deliver for the Kenyan people. We work together, whether we are in government or we are in the opposition. At the end of the day, I believe we will be vindicated based on performance.
What are the main challenges that you faced in the last 3 years in delivering on your promise?
Negative politics.
What does that mean?
Negative politics, from the onset, somebody believes nothing good can come out of you. So it's a perception issue. Yes.
Can I be honest? I think the negative politics were birthed by the very same administration because coming in, again, Kenya Kwanza and President William Ruto won the election. So a lot of people were behind Kenya Kwanza, behind the manifesto, behind all of these things that we're talking about. I think it's the administration's doing that we've lost faith, or that there's a negative perception, or that there's
I really don't think so. Let me tell you,
Let me speak to it's how things are rolled out. It's the communication, it's the taxation, it's the pushback whenever people try to give their feedback. It follows into the extrajudicial killings, abductions, into the weaponization of laws and acts and things like that.
It doesn't feel people-centered.
It does not. All of those things feed into this negative perception, such that even if you said, you know what, today everything is free, you will never pay a single shilling for any service, the people will just be like, no, there's no way. I think that is a product of the administration, not of the people.
Let me tell you something. For the first time in post-independent Kenya, in the last election, we ran a campaign which was issue-based. This government, our candidate ran a campaign which was issue-based. And that's why we managed to to carry Kenyans along, a critical mass of Kenyans along, irrespective of where they are domiciled within the country. So from where I sit, I think the expectations were very high.
Yeah.
And Kenyans expected results overnight. And I'm not blaming them for that, yeah, because there were challenges when we came in and we promised to deliver them. All I plead for is for Kenyans to be patient with us. We will deliver on these promises that we made. There are certain promises that we made which cannot be fulfilled overnight. They are work in progress, but in the fullness of time, we will meet the expectations of Kenyans. I verily believe so.
So negative politics was one of the challenges that you
Yeah, because every day we wake up, you know, we must also change our culture as Kenyans. Every day we wake up and we just want to do politics. You finish elections, government is constituted, the next day you are starting politics for the next elections. That is retrogressive for a country.
Can you tell that to the government?
We cannot perpetually be involved in politics.
The people in government.
Yeah.
So first of all, the leader of this government did the same for the last 5 years because he was building up to his own campaign. Okay? The leader of this government and the deputy leader of this government and ministers and other government functionaries are actually doing the same today as we speak.
Very much in campaign.
You may cloud it and call it whatever you want to call it. You may call it empowerment or what, but people can clearly see that what this is happening is bringing campaigns to the ground.
What is the opposition doing?
The same. Because they're gearing
That's
up.
why I'm saying
They're gearing up to the next election. So those in government, can they stop campaigning?
Have you heard the president say that he's so focused on his agenda to the extent that he's even willing not to get re-elected? Have you heard him say that?
He said that
1,001 times.
Not 1,000, I'm not sure. But I've heard him saying...
No, but do you see the zeal with which he's pursuing the programs that he had set out to achieve, irrespective of the consequences? You know, let's take housing for an example. Every party which is gearing up to form government has been talking about this housing program since independence. Nobody has ever dared to implement it. Ruto has come in and it's decided to implement it, irrespective of the consequences. Universal health coverage, which even the Azimio coalition had it in its plan. Housing was in the Azimio plan. Each and every government usually has this in plan.
Fair enough.
But nobody has got the will to implement.
My point is those in government are participating in what you're calling negative politics. If it started from them not participating in negative politics, then maybe you'd have an easier time in delivering the promise. But we thank you very much for coming, for spending the last 2 hours responding to Kenyans, answering the questions, and explaining what the government has been doing. And that's the job that you say you've been given by the president. Keep doing it.
Okay.
Because we'll be judging you as well, because we are paying you to do this job. Eliud Owalo is the Deputy Chief of Staff in charge of delivery and government efficiency. He's been talking to us about the delivery, Ruto scorecard. The poll continues on our social media and also the comments coming on social media. Let's engage. Has this government delivered? Is it delivering? Is it below expectation? Or has it exceeded expectation? Coming up at 9 a.m., we have another conversation, which is decolonization of the mind. Decolonization of
the mind.
It's 9 a.m. Good morning.